ideas all day.
A podcast
where we,
not experts,
discuss ideas,
and then
place them into piles.
such as
the good ideas pile.
The bad ideas pile.
or ideas pile.
How y'all doing today? Woo! Welcome to the podcast. Wait, no one's gonna answer? Like, am I talking in the wind here? Yeah, I know, but
Hi there.
How y'all doing today? And all I got was crickets.
Maybe it was that kind of day. Yes, it's a cricket day. I've never played. Always wanted to try it though.
It looks awful.
It looks confusing, but rugby looked confusing until I played it, and then it made perfect sense.
The one with the paddle that's got flat, two sides flat.
Yeah.
Cricket.
No, it's not flat, two sides. One side is rounded, the other one's flat.
Correct.
You're slapping the ball.
Yes, and you're trying.
slap
But
it
the
ball.
thing is, you're protecting the wicket behind you. You're not trying to get. You are trying to get past one to hit the wicket so you can knock it over. So, but instead, and then you're trying to bat it away. But also, the outfielders can catch it, and you have outfielders all around you. It's not like there's a foul line like there is with other stuff. And not to mention, it can go on for hours and still not have a winner.
You know a lot about cricket.
And isn't there?
Yes.
How
Isn't
fancy
there a
are
runner
you?
too?
What?
Isn't there a runner that
I
goes
believe
back and
so.
forth?
I believe
and that's
so.
how you score runs.
That's where I kind of lose it, is the scoring system, and I just know that the pitcher's trying to knock down the wicket and whatnot, which the batter's trying to protect. Then you get the running and the catching and all that fun stuff. But it's a situation where it's like, I don't get it, and they wear the
weirdest outfits too.
Yeah, they do. It's like, do they not know what's going on? And again, people that love it, and it's like a point of pride of nations, especially of Australia and the UK and the Ashes in Africa, South Africa. Yep.
There is an excellent documentary miniseries on Netflix. I think it's called Bad Sport, and there was one of the vignettes was about a wonderful, awesome cricket player who was throwing matches and how he was able to throw the matches and get away with it as long as he could. But it's very interesting, and to see that other side of cricket, like the fandom and
There's a fandom?
how skilled. Oh yeah, there's a huge fandom for cricket, for sure.
And you get breaks. Right? You can go on for days. You can go for days.
But speaking of going on for days, Alex, how are you?
I've been going on for days.
But speaking of going on for days, sometimes speeches go on for days. This week episode, we're discussing ideas for Best Man Maid of Honor speeches. Alex, why don't you give us your ideas first?
Sure, I'll give you my terrible ideas. Great ideas. Ideas. All right, so for my first idea is more of a tip. And that's always, you got to make your audience laugh. But typically the way you're going to do that is with an embarrassing story. Because we all have those embarrassing stories, especially the person that you're making your best man or your maid of honor is usually your best friend or one of the people you're closest with. So they probably know some of your most embarrassing secrets. But these are the times when they should be telling the lighthearted, embarrassing secrets. Make sure if you're going to tell an embarrassing secret, it's also not demeaning. Because then you get the death stares from the bride or the groom or their parents. You just got to be careful of that. But if you tell an embarrassing story that's just very lighthearted, you'll still get a laugh out of it. They might get a death stare a little bit, but most people who are going to listen are going to appreciate it. And you get lots of compliments if it's a good one. And always end on a high note. Number 2, sometimes a lot of us have a hard time coming up with best man speeches or maid of honor speeches. It's not easy. You want to have something memorable, but entertaining, and still something that, tugs at the heartstrings. But if they can't do that, you just have to make something up. And what you can do to make it fun for everybody there is have a Mad Libs speech. So you have a speech, but you're going to have the audience submit nouns and verbs and adjectives, and you're just going to pick them out of the hat and fill in the speech. And everyone's going to laugh, and you're going to be loved. They're going to carry you on their shoulders out of the way and leave the bride and groom there by themselves because they forgot that it's a wedding for them, because they're going to be so proud of you. And if you believe that one, you'll believe the next one too. So my third idea is have it as made as a puppet show because everybody loves puppets. I've said this, I don't know how many times, but everybody loves puppets. You want to make a shadow puppet? Go for it. You want to make sock puppets? Do it. You can make sock puppets of the bride and groom. They have little tuxes on and little veils, or about a story you want to tell. But that way, if you have stage fright, you're not in front of people. You're under the table that you're talking from, and the puppets are doing all the talking. So, it's great for those with social anxiety, but still say yes to doing it, but are okay with talking with their hands. Now, if you're the type of person that doesn't like talking whatsoever and believe that actions speak louder than words, why not have a speech that's just interpretive dance? Tell how you feel about the bride and groom and their relationship in the form of a dance, whatever that may come up. And then last, but absolutely not least, probably top tip anyone coming up with a speech should always follow is don't ever, include in your speech, talking about a time that you slept with either the bride or groom's mom, dad, the bride or groom themselves, maybe their dog. Doesn't matter. Just keep that kind of thing out of that. It's just inappropriate. It's wrong. No beastie. And it's just one of those things. Unless if you're saying you're sleeping with the mom or dad, you better be married to that person already, or, at least in a openly romantic relationship with them that everyone knows about. So it's not inappropriate. And those are my ideas.
Thanks, Alex. Let me pile your ideas first.
That's okay. Just leave them as is.
No, it's fine. I'll pile them. For your first idea, which is the tip, making the audience laugh and end on a high note, I'll put this in the ideas pile. It's sound advice. The one thing I don't like when it comes to these best man and maid of honor speeches is the best man always ends up being able to have the funny speech, and then maid of honor always gets stuck with the more serious and heartfelt speech. And I hate that. I want to be the one with the funny speech. I don't want to be the one who's like, oh, she's like a sister to me and we've been through so much. Oh, screw that. I want to talk about weird shit and get a laugh.
Here's my thing with that. And could you bring up a great point is about the best man versus maid of honor. I've been to so many weddings where the maid of honor does not give a speech.
Yes,
at all.
That too.
And it's just one of those things where I've been to them. I've been a part. I've seen some where they both done, and I have seen maid of honor speeches that were funny. But I'm just saying, it's one of those things where it feels like the maid of honor is optional, the best man is not. So I'm just saying, a little sexist.
No, it is.
I'm going off the perspective of I've only been to a couple weddings, so I haven't seen very many, maid of honor best man speeches. So
well, buckle up.
That's why
we're going for a ride. Yes, well, that was the assignment. So yeah, ideas pile for that. It's a sound tip. It's good for anybody. Yeah, ideas pile. Your Mad Lib speech. I absolutely love this idea. I love Mad Libs, and I feel like this would be so funny to just to have people randomly fill out nouns, verbs, and stuff, put them in a box. One has nouns, one has verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and just pull them out as you go. Oh, love it. Yes, good ideas pile. That's right in the good ideas pile. Puppet show, on the other hand, I'm putting that straight into the bad ideas pile. There's production, there's practice, there's, you have to mic up the person who's under the table so you can hear what the puppet is saying during the speech.
No, you put it in front of the puppet because they're giving the speech. I don't understand.
The only time this would be acceptable is if your best man or your maid of honor is a Muppet or is a Muppet wrangler. And if it's professionally done, if you have, Miss Piggy giving your maid of honor speech, then this would be acceptable. But if it's just a sock with some buttons glued onto it, no.
Googly eyes. Don't forget the googly eyes.
The googly eyes. Idea number 4, interpretive dance. I like this idea. Interpretive dance is all for any kind of weird, somebody wants something done. It's I'll just do an interpretive dance for you then. If I have trouble explaining something to somebody, I'll be like, would you like me to interpret a dance for you? So yes, I like this. I would not be mad if my maid of honor or my best man were to do an interpretive dance as their speech. So yes. And number 5, no discussing sleeping with anyone during the speech. Say that I became friends with someone and I met them by sleeping with their father. And it's like, oh, I met so-and-so through her father who I was having sexual relations with, that man. And that's how we got to know each other. I'll put it in the ideas pile. It's a tactful suggestion, but it also takes the drama out of the speech. You know,
there shouldn't be drama in the speeches unless it's a relationship.
I'm here for the tea. I want all the dirt. So that I have sat through so many speeches where they're dull as bones, and I just sit there glossy eyed, just waiting so I can do my toast champagne drink so I can get on with my life. To have something that exciting and that like intriguing that would catch my attention, yes. So I'll put in the ideas pile. And those are my pilings.
Thanks, Kate. Ajax, how about you?
All right. So for your first idea of making the audience hear an embarrassing secret, but then having a lighthearted ending. And then also getting best theirs too. Like, I feel like, you know, like what Kate was talking about, that's a little bit of the drama right there. I can see that. It gives a little bit of drama to the speech. So a little bit of intrigue, some interest.
A little spice. Spice it up a little.
Spicy. So I'm going to put this one in the ideas going towards good because, I mean, it's got to be the right one or else you might get too saucy or not saucy enough. You don't know. So for your second idea of your Mad Libs speech, I also love this idea. I love Mad Libs. I crack up every single time I read them because even just doing it by myself, it's hilarious. So if we had everybody else, crowd participation, get involved, yeah, and you put it together, that'd be a great thing to read. So this is going in the good ideas pile. So for your third idea of the puppet show, I put this one in the ideas going towards good because I was thinking if you didn't have like a full elaborate puppet thing going on, you could just borrow people's socks in the audience, and then you can get some crowd participation by people at their seats being different socks too. So it can be like a full room sock puppet production. So I'm putting this one in the ideas going towards good only because you might get some stinky socks because they might be on somebody's random feet, and that could be really gross because there's a lot of people that go to weddings.
Yeah, and if you go to the ceremony and you were in the ceremony and you had to do all the getting to ready part, you're in those socks for a while. So
they're getting kind of rank.
By the time you get to the reception, they might not be the cleanest of socks.
Here's my thing with what my rebuttal to this. Who makes a sock puppet with the sock they're wearing? If you're going to go to the point of having a sock puppet and you're going to put googly eyes on it, why wouldn't you prep this ahead of time?
You can get sticky add-on googly eyes. They don't have to stay on that long. Your show's only going to be, what, like 5 minutes?
Yeah, but then you have to take your shoes off. Instead of just pulling it out of your pocket, you've got, boom.
That's your show. I'm already creating my own sock puppet show. Yours is a little bit different than mine. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
I just sure, whatever.
Like this is a one person puppet show. How dare you try and intrude on that? Have competing puppet shows between the bride, the maid of honor, and the best man.
Yeah, so if you pull out your own puppet show, I gotta bring out my own puppet show. So that's a puppet show off.
Dueling banjos, where each of the puppets have banjos.
I really want to marry myself just so I can have Ajax as my maid of honor and Alex as my best man, just to see this puppet show.
You have both a best man and a maid of honor that have to give speeches. Whoever the other person is.
Because I'm marrying myself, so I can't.
I misunderstood.
It's just like a big you party.
Yeah.
A big me party.
It's a big me party, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I kind of want to go off on the puppet shows. I feel like that would be fun. It'll work.
It would be interesting to watch.
Mm-hmm. So for your fourth idea of interpretive dance, I'm going to put this also in the good ideas pile because I kind of had the same idea too, technically. But Yeah, interpretive dance. I feel like I would do a better interpretive dance than an interpretive speech. So, or it could be really bad. I don't know. They could either be both equally bad.
Or they could interpret it in the wrong, unintended way, and all of a sudden you insulted the bride's mother's grandmother.
Yeah, I know.
And you just started a feud with the families that's going to reach for 50 years,
which you can't
drama.
Have. No. It does add
drama.
But
it adds drama.
It does add
which
drama,
is once
though.
Again.
This
is entertainment right
makes
there.
it okay then. No. Like there's that depends on like the level of drama.
No, I've seen enough drama at family weddings. I don't need. It's the last place I want to deal with that crap.
Good to know. This will be an interesting wedding. Kate's me party is gonna be a much interesting wedding.
I'll get the invitations ready.
So then for your fifth idea of not including sneaking with another person that anybody knows in the whole thing, I'm right now I'm on the fence between of how I feel about you, how you feel about it, and how Kate feels about it.
No one says you can't sleep with them. Just don't talk about it during your speech. That's all.
I know. But if somebody did make a nod to it where it's just like a little, not necessarily implied, and definitely never no beastie or no petty because duh. But yeah. Ideas.
That's your answer.
It's an ideas pile.
But yeah.
Ideas pile. I was stuck between the drama and shouldn't talk about those things because drama.
That's the thing. You can't talk about these. You can always talk about it afterwards in
secret
private
groups.
and secret, with the waiter, in the back room. It's just saying. But you don't want to do it while it's in the speech and bring that out, especially if you sleep with the significant other of the other person, unless it was like we were dating for like a year first, we parted ways on good terms kind of thing. Then everybody knows you did, but it's not like you have to bring it up.
Kate's got something to say about that.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about a horrific wedding experience that I had with an ex who was the best man, and the maid of honor was his new girlfriend. And I was in the wedding party.
Ooh.
It was not a good night. I ended up very drunk and with a chipped front tooth. So,
nice.
But yeah. But there was drama.
And those are my pilings.
Thanks, Ajax. All right, Kate, you're up. What about your ideas, if you can even call them that?
Yeah, that's a fair assessment for this week. So I've been in weddings. I've never been a maid of honor, always a bridesmaid. So I've never had to give a speech. But one of the things I dislike about these speeches, either from the best man or the maid of honor, is it's always from their perspective. So it's always their inside jokes. It's always their stories. It's always their perspective. So my first idea is maybe instead of just having all anecdotes from that person's perspective, anaconas, don't want none unless we got puns on, is to maybe get like Yelp reviews of the bride and the groom, like from all the other attendants, and then put together like a compilation of like, was always a great dog walker whenever I needed her. He was always willing to help me, with my deck. There was a time he washed my silk shirt and got the stains out, and she was a sweetheart when she came out to the highway to change my tire. I don't know, something like that. So it's not just from one perspective. So idea number one is like a group speech. Idea number two, either the maid of honor or the best man will discuss how the two people who are getting married got together and their perspective of it. What I want to do is have a little bit of a competition where the best man and the maid of honor can come up with like 3 to 5 different scenarios how the couple got together. And then the audience will vote on what they think is the actual correct story. And then whoever gets the most votes towards their story wins, I don't know, some sort of prize or what have you. So that way you could be like, they met when they were on a cruise to see New Kids on the Block. and he bumped into her on the dance floor and spilled his drink, and that's when they first met and it was just magic. Or, oh no, they actually met when they had jury duty together, and they convicted a child molester of child touching, and they just connected after that. I don't know, but you make up these stories and then whoever has them wins it. So that's idea number 2, a competition on who can tell the best scenario on which how the married couple got together. Similar to that, because I'm a competitive person, there is nothing that I love more than fooling people into thinking I'm telling a truth when I'm not. So that game, like True Truth and a Lie, I love playing that game. I love getting people to think that I did something that I didn't. So another competition between the best man and the maid of honor is how many lies they can get away with in their speech. For instance, if Ajax was the bride and I was the maid of honor, and I could be like, oh, I met Ajax. When I first met Ajax, we were playing professional women's tackle football, and we somehow really became closer friends over our mutual love of free booze and mechanical bull riding. And, later on, we explored pole dancing slightly together. Ajax first got involved during a bridal shower or a bridal party or a bachelorette party, and I followed soon thereafter.
False.
And wasn't it at a
This was Courtney. We went to a
party?
class.
All right, so just a class.
Oh, I thought I was supposed to yell out false when it was a false.
No, but I would tell this to the audience, and if they're like, oh, that's obviously lies, she never did any of those things, it's like, well, actually, those were truths, and the lie was, we were friends in high school or something. Like something like that. Keeps it interesting, keeps people intent, like they're listening intently to figure out, okay, is this a truth? Is this a lie? Because once again, a lot of times you're just sitting there listening to people just go on and on about when they were in elementary school and they knew they were going to be best friends because Susie Q tied Peter's shoelaces together for him every day. Like, what have you. So how many lies the person can get away with is idea number 2. And then the last idea I have, the other thing I always hate is like with these bridal parties, the guys get away with not having to do much. The girls have to do so much. They have to get together the bachelorette party, the bridal shower. They have to help with the invitations, the centerpieces. They have to go dress shopping. They have to go get their dress hemmed and fitted. And there's just so many things that the bridesmaids have to do that the groomsmen don't have to do. They just have to go get fitted for a tux and then figure out the bachelor party. And then the best man gets to make a speech and it's funny and it's so captivating. And then the maid of honor makes her speech and it's sappy and they don't get the full due, I don't think. So my last competition is who knows who the best. So you have the best man going up against the maid of honor. And so it'll be questions like, what's the groom's favorite color? And, best man will say like, oh, blue. And, if it's right, great. If it's wrong, pie in the face. Then like the bridesmaid or the maid of honor will be asked, what's the bride's favorite color? Oh, lilac. And it's like, okay, if it's right, great. She gets a point. If not, pie to the face. And it goes on and on and on until whoever has the most points wins. And then they get to be the champion of the wedding. I don't know. But yeah, so those are my ideas. Ajax, why don't you pile my ideas first?
All right. So for your first idea of getting Yelp reviews of the bride and the groom, I don't know how I feel about this one. I don't really use Yelp at all. And I don't know how I'd feel about rating myself or somebody else using the star system. So I'm going to put this one in the ideas pile just because of execution. I'm not quite sure if I would want this or want to do this. So ideas pile. For your second idea of the competition of having 3 to 5 different scenarios on how the bride and the groom got together, I was thinking that was what you were talking about two truths and a lie for your third idea. I thought these two were somewhat related. That I thought that would have been a cool, like I was thinking 2 truths and a lie for this second idea as you were describing it. And then for your third idea, you said 2 truths and a lie. And I was like, but then you just, I wanted that 2 truths and a lie for your 3 to 5 different scenarios. And then you have to guess which one was the real one.
Let me break this down a little bit more clearly, because yes, that's true. This idea is like 2 truths and a lie, except it's 2 lies and a truth, and you have to figure out which one's the truth. For the other idea, I was using that as an example of why I like lying so much. I love being deceitful and having people think other things that aren't true. So yeah, 2 truths and a lie doesn't go for how many times you can lie and get away with it. That goes more so for this idea about how the couple got together.
Yeah, that. I mean, I think that's a good idea. It's a fun game. I'll do it. I'll participate. I'll guess. So then for the third one was how many lies you could say during the speech.
And get away with it.
And get away with it. But like, how are you going to not get away with it? Somebody's going to yell out false. Is that
no,
what
but
the
people
goal
can
is?
No, people can write down as they're listening, like, this is a lie. This is a lie. This is not a lie. They can like tally how many lies they think they hear. And then whoever wrote the speech will have written how many lies they have. And whoever gets the closest would win.
Okay. I'm going to put this one in the ideas pile just because I feel like it's going to be really hard to have that whole crowd coordinated to do that. I don't know. I like the first game better. And the fourth idea I put in the automatically good ideas pile because pie. So, and those are my pilings. Pilings.
Thanks. Pilings.
Yes.
Thanks, Ajax. Alex, why don't you pile my ideas?
You got it, Kate. So for your first idea of the Yelp reviews, I'm putting this one straight in the bad ideas pile because even though you'll get a lot of great reviews, you're going to have a lot of people that hate the bride and or groom or the fact that they're together, and they're going to give these terrible reviews. Unless their name is stamped on it, you know you're going to have, if it's anonymous like Yelp, you're going to have some real nasty stuff show up there, and it's going to ruin the day. If that person's name is stamped on it, you still might have that, but at least everyone knows who's shamed. So that's why I'm putting the bad ideas, because the potential for this is just to go make things go horribly wrong is way too high. All right. And for your second idea of what I call the origin story competition, this one also goes in the bad ideas pile because of just for the fact of you're meeting people at child molester trials is just the worst. The worst. Even if it's never true, the fact that you came up with that as an example immediately puts in the bad ideas pile. That just hurt so hard. That was just so big of a no. I wanted to put my headphones and walk away. It's just so bad. Whoever ever thinks, man, he's so dreamy while he's saying guilty and or not guilty to that person who may or may not have committed child molestation. That's horrible.
Listen, there's those lunch breaks you take. You get to know the other jurors.
No, I'm sorry. I don't care who you are, but if you're starting to think about love while you're listening to prosecutors and defense talk about child molestation, you got a problem, ma'am or sir.
They found love in a hopeless place.
I'm still putting this in the bad ideas pile. I don't give 2 shits about whatever it was.
That's fine.
All right. So for your third idea of just all the lying in the speeches, I believe is the thing. Yeah. I'm going to put this in the ideas pile only because this may not be as fun for the distant relatives or the people that don't know the bride and grooms, like their family or they're really good friends, but they don't talk as much and they're making it there. They may not know it's a big guess for them. You know, it's one thing when you're the main families or the friends that know very well. It may be harder for them. They're just guessing at that point, so it may not be as much fun. So for small weddings, this might be great. For larger weddings, I would say no. And then for your last idea of having the who knows the bride or groom best competition, agreed with Ajax. there's pie. Automatic good ideas pile. Although I
Yay,
disagree.
pie.
I disagree with your assessment in the beginning of women versus men, how much time they want to put in. No one's telling you to have to do any of these things. You can take as little time as the men do, or the men can take more time if they want to. It is personal choice. If you choose to do those things, that is on you. You don't have to. No one is telling you to, but
There is a
doing
social standard
There is.
that women are held to.
You can
Hairs,
change. Hold on.
nails, makeup.
Give me. I'm just saying, if you're going to say there's a social necessity to it, you better back that up with what? Because guess what? There isn't. You don't have to do that. Your personality should shine through on everything. So don't make anyone make you get your hair and nails done when you think it's not. It's just taking too much time. So no, that is your choice. If you choose not to do it, I support that decision. And that's my rant. And my pilings.
I appreciate your random pilings and letting myself shine through. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Ajax, why don't you give us your ideas?
All righty then. So for my first idea, actually very close to Alex's idea, I also mentioned interpretive dance. I also added interpretive song too, because if people are not really comfortable dancing, but they can sing it out and have a good nice song to play for the bride or groom to be, well, no, the bride or groom that are currently sitting in front of you. Yeah, a little performance, la-di-da, or a little dancey dance. So first idea. My second idea is to rap Gangsta's Paradise. I like the song. It's a Coolio hit. I've never heard it at a wedding to date. And if somebody was to perform it as a best man or a maid of honor, I would enjoy watching that, especially if the bride or groom particularly really like that song. So that's my second idea. For my third idea would to be to have the bride and groom's favorite celebrity show up to their wedding to be a part of their speech, or to give the speech of those parties at hand. It's just a nice base, a little surprise, especially to the bride or the groom who's sitting there not knowing what to expect, what's going to be coming out of their mouths. No one knows. Boom. Kevin Costner walks into the room and you really like Kevin Costner. Or, hey, if Alex is the groom, Matt Damon walks into the room. Like, hey, Kate's the bride. She gets Lou Ferrigno coming walking on in. So like... It could be Ryan Reynolds to make everybody happy. So there, like, imagine if they walked in. I mean, I would be surprised, shocked, pleasantly surprised if that was me. So that's my third idea, is inviting a favorite celebrity come and join. For my fourth idea, I have been to a lot of weddings where I haven't really known the bride or the groom, and I've just attended the wedding. So maybe not knowing a lot of the people and just, learning the crowd. I would find it helpful if there were pictures and or videos that were shown as a part of the speech and or presentation if people are reflecting on moments in life, especially if they are particularly fun photos or, of cool times that we had in the past. Yeah, I would love to see little snippets of their, lives together and about whatever they're talking about during the speech. So yeah, fourth idea. My fifth idea is just simple: crowd participation. I want more crowd participation in my wedding speeches, which is why I was kind of liking Alex's, sock puppet thing, because that's got lots of ideas. I also like for Kate's ideas too, because crowd participation is fun. You're getting the audience involved. Or, your best friends and your parents and your family members of sorts. For my sixth idea, it's also a competition, sort of like Kate's. This one's a rap battle between the best man and the maid of honor. The bride and the groom are the judges, but if they come to a tie, then that's when it goes to the audience for applause. If that comes to the tie, it goes to the oldest person in attendance, because when else will they get a chance to do that at another wedding? Who knows, especially if they're really old. So, seventh idea, I see marriage as sometimes as a combining of two groups of people. Two families are coming together, families of friends, families of relatives, all sorts. And I see the best man and the maid of honor as the MCs of the night. Since they have the microphones, they're introducing you to the families. They're setting the stage of this whole group of people that are being brought together from these two families uniting. And I would like to see this as sort of them as like the hype crew of this said family, uniting the family all as one and bringing them together, being that good cheerleader. And I find this is a perfect way solidifying some cult members. So as to, bringing this group together, this one big united family. Yeah, I see them as the hype crew. So that's what I want at my wedding is the bride, whoever they are, to just be the hype crew of family unification. And those are my ideas. Alex, would you like to pile my ideas?
Sure. All right. So for your first idea of interpretive dance, of course, it's going to the good ideas pile because I came up with it first. You can't prove otherwise.
I'll take it.
So because it's just like mine, I have to give a good ideas pile out of sympathy.
I'll take sympathy pilings.
Before, just so this, what was your second idea again? Because I heard Gangsta's Paradise.
That's it. It's for somebody to, sing Gangsta's Paradise.
So you're just gonna have people sing Gangsta's Paradise
if they want.
As
it's an option.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna put this idea as going towards bad because I like the song, but I don't see how it pertains to a best man or maid of honor speech. Like if they change the words around for the song to do that, I'm okay with that.
That's
but
creative.
From your one, it's just like it's novel, but that's about it. You kind of go, okay, so where's the speech? That's it. So yeah, ideas going towards bad. Celebrity guest. I'm going to put this in the ideas pile because it either could be amazing, especially if you have like a Morgan Freeman showing up and delivering the speech. That'd be amazing. But I mean, on the same side of things, they show up with their sultry voice or tones or whatever, whoever they're doing things, they're going to end up sleeping with someone in the bridal party, possibly the bride, possibly the groom, possibly both. I mean, that's ideal if you're going to have that situation happen.
What's wrong with that?
Well, does the other person in the party want that to happen is the question. Because obviously, like if Matt Damon shows up, one thing leads to another at my wedding. And the bride finds out, it's gonna be a real awkward conversation.
It is, but it's understandable if they know you.
If they know me, but at the same time, it's like they may not still be happy about it. It's one thing when when you have that conversation. Well, who's your the celebrities it's okay to sleep with? Just because the list, yeah, it's like
your hall pass.
Yeah.
But what if it's there at the wedding and then it's just like, hey, it's on the list?
But the thing is, even with the list, no one expects someone to actually be able to go through with the list. And if that happens, then it's like you got to do the list card and loose coupon going, here, we talked about this. And it just, he's there. And just got to have that awkward conversation. So, just saying. I mean, hey, if Daniel Craig's there and he starts making out with grandma, that's made her life. I say go for it. So it's not that it was a bad idea. It just, there could be some great moments or some really just concerning moments, which is guys going smack dab in the middle with the idea.
All right, fine. I'll take it.
Believe me, it's hard just because Matt Damon's involved in it and in the way we're talking about. And it's still hard for me to just put in the ideas pile. I want you to know that.
Matt Damon will be very proud of you.
I know. All right, moving on. All right, so for your fourth idea of your visual aids for speeches, I'm going to put this idea as going towards good because I think it's really cool if you have some great pictures that just capture the moment, but at the same time, it could easily devolve into just a slideshow. And people are like, this is going to take forever if we have to do a slideshow. So I think it's got a lot of potential for being really funny, but it's got to be like, cut it short, no more than a couple minutes kind of thing. So, and for your fifth idea of crowd participation, again, I'm putting this ideas pile because it could be amazing or disastrous. From examples that have already been brought up in this podcast, aka Yelp reviews and Mad Libs. For 6,
Those are the two sides of the spectrum.
yeah, it really is. It really is. I mean, in examples we've talked about. Number 6, your rap battle between the maid of honor and the best man. It's going to the good ideas pile. I don't care what grandma says and she doesn't understand it. It'd be fun.
That's why she's like the three-way breaker tie. Like she's at the end, or he
Having a
whoever.
three-way with someone and Daniel Craig. Grandma. Hell yeah.
It's my kind of wedding here.
Yeah. Your last idea, basically the bride and groom, or your idea of the best man, the maid of honor, being the hype crew of the families. I mean, it's a good idea in theory, so I'm going to put it on the good ideas pile. I just don't know how it's going to work, because really you're the hype crew of the bride and the groom, and then you're trying to bring the families together. And I feel like this is almost a West Side Story situation. So there's a lot of potential for snapping. So I guess it's going to go in the good idea.
Yes.
In
They're
case
snapping.
our listeners cannot hear this, but Kate is pantomiming West Side Story dance moves and snapping, which is eliciting Ajax's response.
Yes.
All right, but those are my pilings.
Oh, well, thank you, Alex, for your well-piled piles.
Fair
Kate,
enough.
would you like to pile
Hi.
my ideas?
Sure would. So for your first idea of interpretive dance and or interpretive song, why don't we just call this what it is and call it a musical number? So I'm going to call it a musical number. And since it's a musical number, this is going in the good ideas pile, because I would love to see the best man and the maid of honor just have like this beautiful duet about the bride and groom with dance numbers and lifts and all that fun shit. Idea number 2, Gangster's Paradise. This is one of my 2 go-to songs for karaoke. So this is definitely going into the good ideas pile. And on a sidebar, I was in a wedding as a bridesmaid. And you ever do the tradition where you cling the glasses and the bride and groom have to kiss? Well, at this wedding, people were doing it like nonstop. So the DJ said, listen, if you want him to kiss, you have to come up and sing a song. And before the words had left his mouth, I was already at the DJ stand with my hand outstretched, like, yes, I will sing a song. And then he asked me what song did I want to sing. And to be fair, I was a little drunk. But the second song in my repertoire of songs that I do for karaoke is the Vinyls, I Touch Myself. So I did a rendition of I Touched Myself in front of the bride and groom's families so that they would have to kiss. So yes, I like this idea. Good ideas pile. Favorite celebrity showing up. I'm going to put this in the bad ideas pile just because it's really unrealistic. The likelihood that you're going to get Ryan Reynolds to my wedding and have Ryan Reynolds not break up my marriage because he's there and it's like, yeah, I'm just going to run off with Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively and live with them now. But it's also like that's even more stress for the bridal party to try to like get someone to come to the wedding that the bride and groom both like. So yeah, I'm going to put that in the bad ideas pile just because it's really unrealistic. The common man, normal people wouldn't be able to have that kind of sway in having a celebrity show up. So yeah. Idea number 4, pics and videos shown during the speech. This just reminded me of a PowerPoint presentation, which I actually like PowerPoint presentation. It keeps my ideas flowing. It keeps me on task. I'm not jumping around. And to have photos and videos included, yes, I'm going to put this in the good ideas pile. Crowd participation, I have to say it's a good idea. 2/3 of my ideas were crowd participation ideas. So yes, good ideas. Rap battle between the maid of honor and the best man. See, I don't like this idea because I'm not a good rapper and I hate to lose. So I would hate to be a maid of honor and lose to the best man after all that hard work I put in to try to get celebrities to come to your wedding and then didn't have time to work on my rap battle skills because I was too busy rehearsing my cover of Gangster's Paradise for you. So I'm going to put this in the ideas pile. just ideas pile. Because if you're someone who likes rap and is very good at rap, I can see this working out really well and being entertaining. But if you're not good at rap and you're rapping against someone else who's not good at rap, it's going to be painful to watch. It'll be so cringy. So tread lightly. And then your last idea, MCs for the night, the hype crowd for the families. I like this idea. I actually had something similar happen to me at another wedding. My second cousin, we had these fire pits set up, and my second cousin would just grab a random person from another fire pit, bring them over to our circle, and introduce us to like everybody, send them back, grab another person, and like we got to know everybody throughout the whole night because my second cousin was just on a tear to get everybody to know each other. Like, this is so and so's cousin, this is so and so's aunt, this is how everybody knows each other, and I really like that. I did. So yeah, I like the idea of being the hate crowd for the family. So good ideas. And those are my pilings.
Thanks, Kate.
You're welcome. And speaking of thanks, we should thank our listeners.
Gosh, thank you, listeners, for being there for us. We love you.
Kiss! Kiss! Not with tongue. Don't be weird. Kate, stop it. Stop trying to make out with the listeners. It's inappropriate. This is not the place
But
for
I'm
it.
lonely.
I don't care. That's not their problem.
It's the saddest part about going to these weddings is I'm single.
No, let's
But you're ready to mingle.
It's true. I like how Ajax is telling the listeners we love them, and it sounds like she's trying to recruit them to a cult somehow.
Yes.
Just somehow, just like, we love you. Come see us in Geneva.
Mm-hmm.
Join the cult of Ideas All Day.
Podcast.
I thought that's why we were doing this.
This is the only reason
to
I'm
start a
into
cult.
this.
Yeah, this is the whole reason we started this.
I mean, that's why they call it cult following.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, the only one who's actually succeeded in doing this is Jared Leto. Let's be honest here.
Should we invite him, Jared
Joe
Leto?
Rogan.
If you're looking for a cult.
No, but he's never called it a cult.
No, I mean, Jared Leto is.
He called himself a cult.
Much a cult. Yeah, it's very much a cult.
Yeah, but he's called himself that.
But I don't think he started a podcast to have a cult.
Yeah, well,
he did a bunch of other stuff.
He did a bunch of other stuff, but I'm just saying, you just because the goal is the same doesn't mean you can't use different methods.
There are a lot of podcasts that do have cult-like followings. So, yeah, if you want to join our cult, you can find us on Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, Stitcher, Anchor. You can listen to us on our YouTube channel. We have playlists. You can find us on Facebook, and we are on Instagram at Ideas All Day Podcast. If you have any ideas for topics for new episodes, or if you want to be a guest, you can reach us at ideasalldaypodcast@gmail.com. So thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.